Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we are talking about a very important and interesting topic actually. I think this topic every citizen of India should be knowing. If you are a voracious reader of any newspapers or you follow news, sometimes you'll be hearing this term called pardoning of president, governor has granted pardon, so on and so forth. Recently, also one of the Rajiv Gandhi convicts was been pardoned, and it was a controversial issue as well. So let's not get into the controversies. We'll just strictly stick to the static side of the pardoning powers of the president, and we'll just have a small comparison how a pardoning power of a president is different from that of a governor, because all of you will be knowing that a governor is also head of the state. So the primary citizen of the state would be a governor, and under the governor comes the chief minister. And like everybody will be knowing that president is the head of the country, the first citizen of the country. So these two people are being vested with certain pardoning powers, which we'll be discussing in our today's video. So, talking about the pardoning power of the President of India. So, he is vested with this power as per Article 72 of our Indian Constitution. So, Article 72 gives the President such power that he can pardon, reprieve, respite, suspend, and commute any sentences of a convicted person, which even includes the death sentence as well. So you guys must be imagining, oh my god, president is so powerful or what? But unfortunately, president cannot take this decision on his own. So he is bound by certain articles of the constitution. He is always bound to act on the aid and advice of the council of minister headed by the prime minister. So which means that this is not a discretionary power of the president to grant pardon. So what happens here is that once the president gets this petition, a mercy petition from the convict side, he normally forwards this to the Home Ministry, and Home Ministry seeks the advice of the cabinet, and then once the cabinet gives the advice to the Home Ministry forwards it to the president. So once the president gets the final advice from the Home Ministry, what he can do is that he can send back this again for a reconsideration, so which is called as a suspensive veto. So we'll be talking about the veto powers of the president and all in our coming videos. Let's not make it very lengthy. And then again, if the Home Ministry gives back the petition to the the president, even without any changes, president is bound to give his signature. So he can't do anything on his discretion. So now let's discuss one by one about various options which the president will be having once he gets the mercy plea from the convict. So firstly, he could commute a sentence. So it basically means that he could substitute one form of punishment to a lighter form. Let's take an example. For example, a person gets a death sentence. So it could be commuted to rigorous imprisonment, which could be further be commuted to a simple imprisonment. Then he has an option of remitting, which is called remission of a sentence. It basically implies reducing the period of a sentence without changing its character. Let's take an hypothetical example. A person gets a sentence, say a rigorous imprisonment of 14 years. So it can be remitted to a rigorous imprisonment of 7 years. So that rigorous thing is not changing. If it's a rigorous imprisonment, it will again be a rigorous imprisonment, but only the years will be changing. The amount of time he should be spending in the jail will be reduced, but the character of the punishment will be the same. Then he has an option of respite the sentence, which means that a president can award a lesser sentence in place of originally awarded sentence. Let's take another example, such that you have seen this movie called Badlapur, right? In that Nawabuddin Siddiqui will be getting a life imprisonment or something, but because he is a cancer patient, and that because of that he will be awarded a lesser sentence and be released from the jail. So this will be for a special case, such that a person with disability or a pregnancy of a woman during conviction time. So these kind of cases, the president could respite the sentence. Then there is an option to reprieve the sentence. So this is basically used in the case of capital punishment, that is the death sentence. So it basically implies a stay of the execution of a sentence for a temporary period. So within those period, it's just that we are just giving a chance for the convicted person to seek pardon or commutation from the president. So everybody should get a second chance, right? Yeah, so because of that we have this provision called reprieving of the sentence. Then finally comes the absolute pardoning power of the president. So this pardon power will remove both the sentences and the conviction and will completely absolve all the crimes of the convict from all the punishments and sentences. It's just like he will be as new as a newborn baby. So he's like totally free. And in this case, it's like very rarely used this kind of cases. So this is called absolute pardon. But when it comes to the case of a governor, he does not have this option of absolutely pardoning a sentence. He can reduce the sentence, maybe death sentence, he can make it to a life imprisonment, but he cannot absolutely pardon the convict. So the president can use his powers in the case of court martial as well. Court martial is done in the armed forces. So in those cases also the president can use his power, whereas governor cannot use any power in the case of court martial. So, but there's an interesting fact actually. So once a court martial happens, that person cannot directly go to a high court or a supreme court. So he can appeal to an armed forces tribunal, and again, if that person is not satisfied, he can approach a high court, and then finally he can approach the supreme court. So also in the case of court martial, if high court does not give a certificate, so it's called special leave petition or the certificate, so you cannot file this, as I told you, right, a case at the Supreme Court. So in the case of a court martial, the High Court need to give a certificate, then only you will be able to file a special leave petition at the Supreme Court. So that is all about the pardoning powers of the president and the governor, and a small comparison between the two. And then we will be coming in future with more and more these kind of interesting concepts and their explanation. So we'll try to keep this video short and just we'll only look at the static part of the pardoning powers of the president and the governor. And then in future, when any current affairs or something comes up, we'll take this up and we'll discuss it in more depth. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. So please do like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we will see you again in the next video. Thank you and have a nice day.